Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we're diving into a Form 8K filing from Soluna Holdings. It's like their version of a my bad note to investors, only it's required by the SEC. Let's see what oopsie they had to report this time. Soluna Holdings filed this report because something happened that they needed to tell everyone about. The date to keep in mind is February 25, 2025, because that's when the event they are reporting on happened. This report is called a Form 8K. Think of it as a company's way of saying, hey, something important happened, and we need to let you know right away. It's used for major events that could affect the company and its investors. So who is Soluna Holdings anyway? Well, their main focus is on Bitcoin mining. They build computing facilities that run entirely on renewable energy and locate those facilities near renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar farms, and use excess energy from those sources to mine digital assets, such as Bitcoin. Soluna is officially based out of Nevada. This doesn't necessarily mean their actual operations are there, it's just where they're legally incorporated. Their main office, though, is at 325 Washington Avenue Extension in Albany, New York. This is where the big decisions get made. If you really wanted to reach out, you could call them. Soluna has common stock which you can buy and sell, and they also have something called 9.0% Series A cumulative perpetual preferred stock. Don't worry too much about what that is, just know that it's another type of stock they offer. If you wanted to buy Soluna's regular common stock, you'd look for the ticker symbol SLNH. If you are instead interested in their 9.0% Series A cumulative perpetual preferred stock, then you should instead look for the SLNHP symbol. Both of these trade on the Nasdaq stock market. Now we get to the meat of the filing. Item 7.01 is all about something called Regulation FD disclosure. Regulation FD is designed to prevent companies from selectively disclosing information to certain investors before releasing it to the public. So what did Soluna disclose? It turns out that the company issued a press release containing some previously unreleased business and operations information. You know, the kind of stuff they usually share on their website. This press release is attached to the filing, and the SEC wants to make it clear that this information isn't officially filed in the same way as other financial reports. Essentially, this means they are not liable for the contents of that press release in the same way as they are for other items that are part of the official filing. This means they are not fully taking legal responsibility for it. Let's see what's in this press release. We can see that it is dated February 25, 2025. The press release confirms the date and the company involved. The press release is about the company's strategic alternatives review process. In simpler terms, they've been looking at different ways to improve the business, potentially including selling parts of the company or merging with another company. It's important to note that just because they're exploring these options doesn't mean they'll actually make any big changes. They might decide to stick with their current strategy. The press release also talks about Project Volta and its expansion in Texas. Project Volta sounds like a cool code name, but what is it? Well, it is the company's new Bitcoin mining facility in Texas. Soluna plans to get the first 50 megawatts of power up and running in the second quarter of 2025. It's like plugging in a giant computer to start mining. This facility will have around 16,500 new miners. These miners are powerful computers that solve complex math problems to verify Bitcoin transactions and earn new Bitcoins. They are hoping to reach 2.0 AS of computing power by the middle of 2024. AS stands for exahashes per second. It's a measure of how much computing power they have for mining Bitcoin. The more power, the more Bitcoin they can potentially mine. The company completed a private placement where they sold shares of stock to a select group of investors. This private placement brought in about $7.2 million. This cash can be used to fund their operations, pay off debts, or invest in new projects. They expect to report having around $3.4 million in cash and cash equivalents. This is the amount of money they have readily available. They also have a restricted cash balance of about $2.6 million. This is money that's set aside for specific purposes and can't be used for general expenses. The company expects to report around $37 million in total debt. This is how much money they owe to lenders. They are looking at different ways to get more funding, which could involve selling more stock or taking out more loans. Soluna will be hosting a conference call on March 7, 2025 to discuss these results and future plans in more detail. So, what's the story here? Soluna Holdings is trying to expand its Bitcoin mining operations in Texas. They're raising money, building new facilities, and buying new equipment, but they also have a lot of debt and are exploring different options for the future. Now, let's take a broader look. Soluna is in a competitive industry with a lot of ups and downs, especially depending on the price of Bitcoin. The company's success depends on a few key things: how efficiently they can mine Bitcoin, how much it costs them to operate, and how well they manage their debt. One of Soluna's strengths is its focus on using renewable energy. This gives them an edge over competitors who rely on fossil fuels, as it lowers their carbon footprint and potentially their energy costs. But their debt level is a weakness. $37 million is a lot of money to owe, and it could put a strain on their finances if Bitcoin prices drop or if they have trouble expanding their operations. Overall, Soluna is an interesting company with a lot of potential, but they also face some significant challenges. They're in a rapidly changing industry, and they need to execute their plans effectively to succeed. I would keep a close eye on their next earnings report and see how Project Volta in Texas is progressing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this corporate decoder breakdown, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what companies you'd like me to analyze next.